Okay, I wanted to make a quick video to go over how Quiz Bowl works. I know Scholar Bowl, I know some of you have done this before, so it's kind of a refresher for those of you, for scorekeepers. For those of you who have never done it before, this is kind of information for you for the first time. So I'm going to go kind of fast because it is more of a refresher, but if you have questions, please stop it, rewatch it, come back and ask me. Okay, so this is what the score sheet looks like. Moderators, you'll have a packet of questions. I'll give those to you right before the match. So this is what the scorekeeper is going to look like. You'll have one for every single match. So you'll be doing 3 matches of the quad. So you'll have 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. At the top, you're just going to fill at the top. This one's going to be quad 3, or whatever the event happens to be. Quad number 3. You're going to put in your room number, 304. You're going to put in who the moderator was. Maybe it's Miss, I can't remember who's doing it, Miss Carvina. Okay, I guess she's 305. Put in the scorekeeper, Dr. Saha. Okay, and then you don't have to worry about the round or packet. We'll all have that information already. But you needed to put the team name. So make sure you have the correct team name. Center and Pleasant Hill, or whoever it is, Warrensburg and Harrisonville, whoever it is. One thing you might put at the top is, just so I know, this would be a JV team. Or you might put, if it's varsity, put varsity, just so I know, and keep track of the two. I should be able to tell by the names on it, but okay, so the kids will come in, they'll sit down, they'll get situated, make sure everyone has paper and pencil for the math computation questions. And the first thing the scorekeeper is going to do is start putting up names. They should have nameplates, they're required to have nameplates, but just make sure on the pronunciation. So you put their names in, like here we put Dimitri, Josephine, Jefferson, and Teddy. We may have some subs, so you can put other names in there if you want. I think they can have a maximum of 6 players per match, so 4 at a time, and they can do some subs later on. But you can put those names in later if you want. Just write them in. Then the other side, you'll do the other team. So I don't know who their team is, but we'll do John, Susan, Oscar, and Leah. Okay, and then one thing too is you're going to ask for each, when we do a light check, you'll have to ask them for captains. So as soon as you get their names down, they're seated, you say, coaches, are you ready? Captains, are you ready? Let's do a light check. You'll point over here, and then the person will buzz in, and they'll say, okay, Jefferson, buzz Jefferson, buzz Teddy, buzz Josephine, captain, buzz Dimitri. So if you just put a little C at the top or bottom so I know who the captain is, then you come over here and say, okay, buzz John, buzz Susan, captain, buzz Oscar, buzz Leah. So you just put a little C by Susan so we know who the captain is. Okay, so as soon as that's done, as soon as the light check is done, names, you can introduce yourself if you want. You can say, hi, my name is Mr. Gravina. I teach math here at the high school. Dr. Saha teaches science here at the high school. We're here to do it. We've done this before, so shut up and listen to us, or whatever you want to say. Then you'll start right away. You go toss up number 1. They're used to that. As soon as they get introductions done, as soon as they do a light check, toss up 1. Always start off with the word toss up, because there are 2 different types of questions, don't forget. Toss ups are individual. They have to buzz in. So you start with the toss up question, start reading the question. As you go through it, you might be interrupted. You get partway through, someone buzzes in. So you stop and you acknowledge who they are. So buzz Jefferson. He gives you the right answer, the wrong answer, you acknowledge him. If he gives you the right answer, we're done. Jefferson gets 10 points. The scorekeeper puts a 10 underneath Jefferson in round question number 1. Okay? If he gets it wrong, then you would simply stop and you would say that's incorrect. You'd pick up, and now center is out, and only Pleasant Hill now can answer the question. So they still have to do it individually. There's no conferring. They can't talk. If anyone's talking to one another or makes eye contact, or kind of even communicates non-verbally, you have to call that. You can't say you can't do that. So no communications at all. And then they buzz in, they get it right, 10 points for them, or they get it wrong. Then we'll talk about that in a minute. But for, let's say, the first question we got correct. Jefferson got the question right for center. So if you don't get through if you're not interrupted, if you get to the end of the question and you finish the toss-up question, there's 5 seconds. Just count it off. Just go 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, and just say time. If no one's buzzed in by time, the question goes dead. No one gets the bonus questions. We move on to the next toss-up. Okay, so let's just say this one Jefferson answered correctly, so he got his 10 points. So immediately you go to the bonus questions. And you start with the bonus. So, the bonus questions have to be answered through the captain. So when I ask a bonus question, Josephine has to answer, or the captain could say, I defer to. So maybe Josephine doesn't know it, but Teddy does. So she goes, I defer to Teddy. They can talk amongst themselves. They can discuss this. In fact, we encourage that. Josephine would have to answer, or she could defer to someone. So let's say she defers to Teddy. Now Teddy has to answer. Teddy can't say, well, I defer. No. Once she defers to Teddy, Teddy's on, he has to answer. He only has 10 seconds. So what generally happens is the reader will go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. And when you get to 9, you would say, I need an answer, time, and then it will go to the other team. But let's say Josephine gets the right answer. So here, under the first bonus, you'd put, okay, 10 points. We got the bonus question correct. Then you immediately read the next question. So you read it, and this time, Josephine gets it wrong. So you say, that's incorrect, rebound. That starts the clock for the other team. They have 5 seconds. So 10 seconds for the first team, 5 seconds, because they've already had that 10, now they only have 5 seconds. So it has to come through the captain, Susan. So you start going 1, 2, 3. Now at 4, I would say, I need an answer, time. Okay, kind of lets them know you got a second, answer. And then if they answer the same time you do, you say time, give it to them, be a little flexible, but as long as it's not after. So then let's say Susan gets it correct, their team gets it correct, so they get 10 points for bonus B, you put 10 points there. Okay, you do the same thing with C. Now C comes back to center, you ask the question, let's say Josephine answers it correctly, now she has 10. So you've marked the toss-up, A, B, C, this goes A, B, C backwards. I think on my score sheets I actually have that written in. Always working towards the center scorekeepers. So then you would do 10, 20, 30. So they have a cumulative points of 30, they have 10 points. As soon as you say that's correct on bonus C, then the reader goes right into toss-up 2. Toss-up 2. And you ask the question. And this time, let's say Oscar buzzes in and Oscar gets it right, 10 points. So 10 points for Oscar, congratulations, way to go. Okay, then you ask Pleasant Hill the bonus questions. They get A, they get B, and they get C. Great job, that's a sweep. Swept the whole thing, all 40 points. So then you would do 10 plus 40 is 50. And then what I do on these is I would simply say no points, put a dash, 30, and then go on to toss-up number 3. So we go toss-up 3, and this time Dimitri buzzes in, she gets it right, so you put under round 3, under Dimitri, 10 points. Okay, now for quads, it's important you get the individual player because I keep individual stats. If you have a question, just make sure you confer with them and make sure who got it right, but you would make sure you get the right individual. And then you ask the bonus question, Josephine answers the first one. You ask the second one, Josephine answers the second one, and then we miss the third one and Pleasant Hill gets it. So now we got 10, 20, 30. So now we have 30 plus 30 is 60. They got 10 points on that question. 50 plus 10 is now 60. Question 3 is done. Immediately go into toss-up number 4. So you ask toss-up number 4. You get done with the question. You stop reading it for 10 points. Please give the answer of who was the first king of England, or whatever. First king of England? I don't think so. Anyway, who was the first president of the United States? So then you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Time. Nobody buzzed in. At that point, the question goes dead. I put a little X there. We don't do the bonus questions. We go straight to toss-up number 5. I put little dashes and say 60, and then we go to toss-up number 5. Then the same thing. You read the toss-up, someone buzzes in. Let's say this time Josephine gets it right. So toss-up number 5. They get A, B, and C. So now they have the sweep for 40 points. So 40 plus 60 is 100. They got nothing, so they have 60. Question number 5. And then you go right into bonus number 6. So real quick on the timing again. A toss-up question, when you finish answering or saying the question, you count to 5. If no one is buzzed in, time is up, it goes dead. If someone does buzz in, they have 10 seconds to answer. Okay? They have to get through the entire question in 10 seconds. Then if they get it incorrect, then you start the 5 seconds over again, the other team buzzes in, and they have time to finish the question. Never takes 10 seconds, but just in case. Then on a bonus question, the team that gets the bonus question first gets 10 seconds to answer. On a rebound, it's 5 seconds. Okay? All right, so then you go down through here and you finish up. You have your running total. You go to your scores. You get all the way down here. Let's say we get to question number 11. Number 11 is halftime. It'll say, for the reader, it'll say in the packet, into first half. And then you can say, are there any questions? Are there substitutions to make? I would always do a score check, scorekeeper at halftime. Just simply say, I have Center at 100, Pleasant Hill at 60. Does everyone agree? A lot of times they'll say, actually, I had us at 100 to 50 or whatever. So they just come back and you show them your score sheet. You look at theirs. Did you make a mistake? If you did, fix it. If they made a mistake, make them fix it. Make sure both coaches and you agree on the score before you leave halftime. Okay? Then do the second half and you'll go down to question number 22. Whoops. Hang on, back up. Go down to question number 22. At question 22 will be the end of the match. Then all you have to do is put the final score, 450 to 300, or whatever the score may be. Okay? I do have captains or coaches sign, so I'd have a captain sign down here, or whoever the captain doesn't have them sign, just so, okay, they were here, they agree with the score, we're good, and then you send that back to me and I will record it. So, pretty simple, pretty basic. 2 issues that might come up, I just want to throw this out. Probably not, but just in case they do. If there's a question, there's a protest. For instance, we're on question number 6, and you're reading the toss-up question, and you read the toss-up question, and it comes down for 10 points, please give us the sum of 4 plus 3. Buzz. So you say, yes, John. John says 12. And you're like, oh, it's 7. If you multiplied rather than added. You just said the answer without giving the other team a chance to respond, okay? That's a problem, okay? So they should have had a chance to answer the question. So we could fix it right then, but what I would prefer you do is say, okay, on question number 6, there's a protest. Just put the letter P and just say Center gets toss-up. Okay, just make some sort of note what happened. Center, I failed to give you a toss-up question, so we'll protest it and we'll fix it. So what happens then, if you get down to the end of the game and the score is, the final score is like 450 to 100, that question doesn't make a difference in the score, we're not going to fix it. We're going to call 450 to 100 the final score, we're done. If the question happens on like a bonus question where it's only 10 points, just put a little P there, protest. Put it on either side, you can put it on both sides if you want. Little protest. Make a note. Center gets an extra bonus question, or whatever it may be. And then if we have to fix it at the end, we fix it. If we don't have to, we're just done with it. If a coach throws a fit and says, I want to fix it right now, that's fine. Go ahead and fix it, take care of it, pull extra questions out of your packet, read to them the correct question if you have issues. Coaches will help you. If you have another issue, come get me, I can come help you. But if there's a protest, I'd rather fix those at the end. I'm going to tell you right now, only one time in my coaching have we had to actually fix the protest. We've just said, hey, that's an issue, we'll come back and fix it at the end. By the time you get to the end, the score doesn't matter. Either way, either you're ahead or you're losing, it's not going to matter, so why even fix it? So just for time, just put a little P, protest, and move on. The other issue we could have is, let's say we get down here to the end and we're tied. This doesn't happen very often, but on occasion it does. So let's say we end up down here and we end up with 300 to 300. You've double checked, you said 300 to 300, both coaches agree, the teams agree, so now we have a tie. Okay, overtime is very simple. The reader takes out bonus questions and you start reading toss-ups. First one to answer a toss-up wins. You read it, Center buzzes in, gets it wrong, Pleasant Hill buzzes in, gets it right, or if they both get it wrong, you read the next toss-up. And you just keep reading toss-up until someone gets it right. Scorekeepers, the way you count that is, there's no points against them if they miss it. The team who gets it right gets +1. So you would get 301 to 300. That way, when I see that in the scorebook, I know that game went to overtime because there's a 1 there. That's the only one that's different as far as points for quads. Everything is 10 points except for a overtime question, and that's only worth 1. Okay, so the protest, the overtime, I think everything is pretty straightforward. If you have questions, let me know. Be glad to go over any of that. I will give you some reminders right before the match as well. So please email me and ask me questions. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.